Okay, now let's look at figure 3.6. Here we have three plots. Okay, we have a scatter plot in L stat and Knox. These are two predictors, and we are trying to figure out whether these two predictors have any relationship. And we want to figure that out for the two cat med v values, cat med v equal to 0 or 1. So we want to use cat med v for color, and then we need L stat and X and Knox and Y. And then we want, again, separated by Chas, the average med v, okay, for each value of rad. So here we need to find the average med v for a combination of factors. Okay, Chas equal to 0 and rad equal to 1, Chas equal to 0, rad equal to 2, and so on. So when we do group by, we need to do group by two variables. Okay, so that's what we're going to have to do. So scatter plot with Knox, LSAT, and cat med v for color, right? So ggplot data equal to housing df. Okay, mapping to AES. So x is equal to LStat and y equal to Knox, and color equal to cat med v. Okay, plus now we want scatter plot. So scatter plot is geom point, and we can specify an alpha. Alpha is how transparent the coloring is, the fill color is. So 0.7 for example, and then we can give a title. GG title is scatter plot of Knox versus LStat with cat med v for color. Okay, so I have here, instead of 0.7, I have 0.7, so that gave me an error. So fix that. So now we have the scatter plot. Now we can position the legend either anywhere you want, and if you want to change the position of the legend, and we have to use what is called theme, right? Theme, one of the options for theme is legend position. So legend position, say bottom, okay, so there it is. Okay, now we need the bar chart, that is for the average med v. Okay, so we need to use group by data for plot, group by, what do we want to group by? Housing DF by what? By Chas and rad and Chas. Okay, it doesn't matter how do you do it. Rad and Chas. And we need to make sure that when we plot it in the proper way. Alright, then we feed that, we'll use pipe operator and then do summarize. summarize what? Instead of changing the names afterwards, we can say average med V equal to mean of med V. Okay, so when you instead of simply saying mean med V, when you do this, this name will be used as the title for that column. Okay, so if you go to data for plot, see rad chas, and since we gave a name, that name is used in the title. So we can skip the names code. It's a little bit easier now. And then we do the data plot. Okay, so what do we want to plot? ggplot data equal to data for plot, right? Okay, plus okay, so we'll do geom bar okay x equal to rad, y equal to average med V, right? avg dot med V well, here I made a mistake. We need to have AES, okay, and then comma stat equal to identity. Okay, so now if you run this, okay, so there is a problem here. That's because rad, all right, is an integer variable. So it's treating as an integer variable. That's why you see a huge big gap here. Okay, and we also need to separate this to chas equal to 0 and chas equal to 1. Okay, so what we need to do is to, when we specify x equal to rad, we need to convert that to as factor. Then the numerical value will be converted into a factor, and you will see exactly the numbers that are there, and the missing numbers will not be plotted there because it's coming in as a factor. Alright, so there is one more thing we have to do, which is separate it out by chas, and we do that using facet grid. So that is another layer that ggplot uses, facet grid, and then you say what you want to use for faceting. Okay, so we say chas, okay, chas as the faceting and everything else that we have specified. The dot here is all other variables like we have defined previously, right? So now we have the two plots separated by chas, and we still need to change maybe the x label, and we want these two to be also labeled differently. So chas, we can say we can use labeler and then say label both, and then it will include the variable as well. So like labeler equal to, okay, label both. All right, and then we can say X lab. Okay, we need to do a plus, and then X lab is rad. Um, okay, I have an extra. Okay, label both with that. Okay, I had parenthesis for label both. That was the reason for the error. Okay, so now it's labeled chase 0, chase 1, and then the 2. All right. Now we need to put them side by side, so which means we have to save these plots. Okay, so that would be plot 1, right? And then we have plot 2. Now you have to run plot 2 with the data, make sure that the data used is correct, and then we do the um, grid arrange. So we do grid arrange plt1 comma plt2 comma n row equal to 1, so side by side. So we have side by side.